Do you upload like on like YouTube as well for video?
I'm planning to. I have mostly been just kind of like testing the waters and been uploading to like stuff on Facebook and gonna start uploading stuff to Twitter also.
Oh, that's lit. That's lit.
Yeah, so like the whole video portion of things is little new to me in terms of like podcasting, but I'm trying to get the hang of it.
Oh yeah, of course. The sooner the better, though.
Yes, yes sir, yes sir. So I know you have another meeting to get to, so I don't want to take up too much of your time, but thank you for hopping on the podcast, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, thank you for being available.
Dude, I'm actually pretty excited. So with this podcast, like anything really goes. You know, we can just go off the top.
Hmm.
I know you had some topics of like anime you wanted to talk about.
Oh
So
yeah, I also talk about a range. It's just usually that's usually what people gravitate towards, and
mhm.
it's easier to talk about things that you've dedicated like a couple thousand hours worth.
Yes, definitely agree.
It's like, hey, if you've watched a lot of anime or did sports or video games, it makes a very easy podcast if somebody relates to at least one given topic that you also have an affinity for.
Yes, 100%, 100%. So, do you want to give like a quick like introduction about yourself? Like, what do you do? The podcast that I've actually been checking out lately,
Mhm.
that you co-host as well.
On which one?
Um, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on.
Is it like the Pen podcast or the Argue
Yes,
Bros?
the Pen podcast.
Yes, because I do too. So
Yeah.
I don't know which one. But yeah, the Pen podcast. Yeah, that one's pretty fun. But essentially, I go by Nico Pengin as my pen name. I've been using that as my gamer name for as long as I can remember. Honestly, I misspelled my username in Club Penguin back when Candy Stand and Mini Clip and were the only place and RuneScape were like the only places to play video games on the internet.
Hmm.
Fast forward to having a conversation with somebody and just letting them know, like, you know what, I could actually write. Like, I see what these writers are doing, I see what these comic book creators are doing, and I think that I think I have something of value that I can just step in there and be myself, not compromise on who I am, which is why I also went self-publishing. And being myself and just talking to people, because at the end of the day, that's honestly how you get through in life, is just having a normal conversation with somebody else. And as long as you can understand, see eye to eye, you just never know what ends up happening.
Yeah, definitely 100%. And I did want to touch really quick about your self publishing because I seen that you had some stuff on Amazon as well. What were some of your inspirations for like stuff that you've been creating?
Oh, did we start recording, by the way? Because I was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
ranting.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay,
sorry.
okay. Just in case.
Yeah,
Um, can you repeat that one more time?
yeah, no problem. So what were some of the inspirations that like I guess like artists or manga creators that just inspired you to go into self publishing?
Ooh, to go into self-publishing, um wow, this is layered. So with regards with the inspiration to start,
Hmm.
so first of all, my favorite anime manga of all time is One Piece. I don't think anything ever is going to
Yes.
come anywhere near that. There's been a lot. Naruto's been very close and other animes and mangas, but just the overall sheer emotion, world building, story building, the 180 degrees that you absolutely have no idea what's going to end up happening. Straight up, just Oda God tier. As for inspirations for comics, because I do have Bate, a comic I decided to use or create from the Bate Ascending book and the Bate story that I'm creating. I got a lot of different ideas from different places. For example, I used to read and watch I Shield 21. That was one of my favorite animes in regards to sports. Then there's also Kuroko no Basket, which is another sport anime. And I was always thinking, like, there's all these amazing animes for uh, already created sports and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
how about a brand new one that kind of feels like something that we could do we could do a sport that looks like the Bate sport within the 5-10 years. Because it's just putting jetpacks on the bottom of your souls, being in an anti-gravity sphere, and kind of like mixing in hacky sack because you can't use your hands to try to get a ball
Yeah.
into the other side. And once I had that idea, I just started looking at all these amazing mangas that I used to read and just started piecing them together, mixed with my Dominican heritage. And that's essentially what the Bate story came from. As for why I decided to go self-publishing, goes back to like the fact that I want to have that ownership, one, and two, I move hella quick. So like not the story the series isn't even over, and I'm
Mhm.
already looking at translating every book as I go. I'm already looking at every time I drop a book, trying to make it into an audiobook the moment it comes out. And the
Okay.
moment that I had the inspiration for looking at how this book can transition into other forms of media, then I immediately said, oh my God, I love manga. I always love One Piece. So why not turn it into a comic? And I started talking to a comic book artist, and we got that thing already going. And as I'm doing all this and as I'm researching and listening to other authors talking about how it takes them 5 to 10 years to
Mhm.
build an audience before they're even allowed to sign a contract and go through their publishing. And I was like, I don't think it's that hard to write something and just put book on it and just give it to Amazon. Like, I don't think it's that complicated to the point where you have to spend all that time. And then you got the legal politics. Well, if you don't do it that way, you're not going to be satisfied. You're not going to. And I'm just like, okay, I'm not doing this for you guys. Like, no offense to everybody, but like, I'm not doing it for you guys. I'm just doing it for me. And if you just so happen to like the idea in the story, well, then kudos. But I'm not doing it for other people, because when you do it for other people, then you got to wait for them. You got to wait for them. You got to wait for their agent, their approval. And it's like, why would I need someone's approval for something I created?
No,
Like,
I,
someone explain
sorry,
that to me?
dude. I'm like so taken back by it because that's so like amazing, honestly. Just I can definitely already tell off the bat that you're just like, I'm gonna go for this. I'm gonna go for this. I'm gonna go for this.
Yeah.
So I had to ask because One Piece is actually one of my favorites too.
Hmm.
Who's your favorite character?
Man, that's it's always so tough.
Yes.
But number one, hands down, gotta be Zoro. Number two, right there, is Luffy. Only because I'm like more Luffy oriented like my actual character as a person. Like I
Yeah.
just do something and I worry about the consequences completely later. But in terms of like, damn, that's my dog, is Zoro. When he pulled up to Mihawk, and he's like, yo, you the guy I've been looking for. Real quick, like I need to test my skills. And the moment he got his hand whooped, he was like, hey, this is the only L I'm ever taking for the rest of my life.
Yes. Yes.
Anybody else who's gonna give me an L better be this guy right here. Nobody else. And then when he sacrificed himself to Kuma, I was like, yo, this dude had like the biggest ego in my point of view. I was like, he humbled himself for Luffy. I was like, man, that's gotta be
Yes.
like the one of the most manliest things that a nigga could do. Like, what?
100%. And on top of that, like swallowed his pride just to go to the person that gave him that L and was like, "Hey, can you
Yes.
train me? Like,
Yeah.
I need to get stronger. You're the only person that can do this."
And
So I respect that.
yeah, the super swag the part was the part next where he's like, why would you do that? He looks up and he's like, to kill you.
Yup.
And it's like, damn, a man that swallows his pride. Like he's not even lying. Like he's straight up like, I'm not lying. I'm doing this just so I could defeat you. I think that like, man, to create a character like that, Oda is just top tier.
Dude, have you been keeping up with the manga by
Oh
chance?
yes.
All right.
Yes. I'm at
So
2025.
all right, so we're both up to date. What do
Yeah,
you think
yeah.
about like the whole thing about I think it was Shimosuke potentially being like either a great like
Oh,
granddad
he's
or
for
a
sure.
father?
He's guaranteed. Like if I know Oda and the way that Oda's been writing, and I've reread One Piece twice,
Mm,
and the way that Oda writes, it's like he's Japanese. Zoro, like when they do SBSs, the
yeah.
questions and polls and stuff like that, Zoro is from Japan. Like the moment I figured out Zoro's from Japan, I was like, okay, so Zoro's gonna be the badass. Like he's gotta be, because Oda's Japanese, Zoro's Japanese. So I was like, okay, he's got to be the badass one. Two, like the fact that everything that's happening right now in the story is literally leaning up to Zoro's backstory arc, because Whole Cake was Sanji's backstory arc.
Yeah.
And so we got to know, like, Sanji, I believe he was like French, so it makes sense. A lot of the stuff, a lot of the culinary, a lot of his attacks are all, French based attacks versus, Santorio is obviously Japanese. And the fact that a lot of his styling is based off of the original Ryuma, not this One Piece canon Ryuma, but the other one, the one shot that Oda did. Like, I don't know if you ever read Oda's previous work where he created Ryuma and he did that
Yeah.
one shot.
I think it was like
And
monsters.
yeah, it's like Monsters or Monsters to Hunt, something like
Yeah.
that. I'm butchering it. I'm so sorry, Oda, but it was like chapter 0 or whatever. And he cut off the dragon, and Zoro did it the exact same way on Punk Hazard. The moment he did that, everybody was like, okay, if he is not from Wano, Oda got issues. Like, he's
Yeah.
guaranteed the hair color is green, which a friend of mine was telling me that's because his dad's hair is blue and his mom's hair is yellow. I was like, boom.
Shit. I didn't really think about that one. I
And
didn't
then if
really
you
think about
throw in
like
the
Zoro's mom and like at all. Honestly, like she never
Mhm.
really came to mind. Um, but I have to ask: have you heard of the theory that Admiral Green Bull is um Shimosuke or the Zoro's dad?
Yeah, I heard that the same friend that was telling me was that there might be some sort of a connection between the two,
Hmm.
because when he mentioned that he hadn't eaten for like 2 years or whatever, it was
Yeah.
very reminiscent on the fact that samurais don't get hungry, and they don't eat if they're not hungry. And the only other opportunities when that would happen is, like, let's say Kaido, kidnapped him. So if Kaido kidnapped him, or if he was stuck somewhere, whatever he was doing, punishing himself, because I don't know, these guys are so eccentric, and Oda just likes to create these weird characters or whatever. So
Yeah.
it might be something weird like that. But if he is his dad, or he could be like his long lost cousin or uncle, and that would be even cool. I think personally that would be even cooler, because then he would have to fight like Fujitora, who has the blind justice. He can't see. He has this amazing sword technique. And then his uncle, because Luffy got his granddad in the Marines. So I'm
Hmm.
just thinking, like, yo, the way Oda likes to piece together puzzles, and he likes to make this amazing connect the dots thing, like this person is related to this person's related to this person, and Zoro being part of Wano, especially the royalty of the Daimos. Like, if he's a Daimos child, that would make even more sense, because then Oda would have had to save Zoro by having his dad send him away from Wano when Orochi was going around trying to like kill all the firstborns or whatever.
Yeah. Uh, Dude, you nailed it right on the head. Especially when like because of Oda being who he is, he loves like doing foreshadowing for a
Yes.
bunch of different things. And when they show the I guess the back of Shimosuke, he
Hmm.
showed the green bull tattoo that he had, and a lot of people have been making the connection that because of I feel like it's already a given. Like even though it hasn't been fully stated that
Right.
Fujitora is from Wano, I feel like that's kind of like a given.
Right.
And a lot of people have been speculating that the reason that he blinded himself was because during the whole fight with the daimyo against Kaido,
Hmm.
he saw the travesty that Kaido was causing and how he couldn't like I guess protect everybody and how the daimyo fell. He blinded himself from
Mm.
that, and he managed to escape with Shimosuke. And when the world government was recruiting people,
Yeah, the draft. Yeah.
they found these two strong samurai warriors and basically promoted them to admirals. So I think I think there's a strong possibility because that Shimosuke might be Green Bull just because of how you said about him not eating for like 2 or 3 years,
Hmm.
and just that strong bond that Fujitora and him have, and their need or want to like um, disassemble the warlords.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I'm like super excited to see what Oda's gonna do next because I really want that reveal of Green Bull because he seems like he's gonna be like that really badass like dude.
Hell yeah.
So
That makes me think of a different theory. Like, what if the fact that Fujitora actually saw was something with Kaido, Orochi, and the Marines doing some sort of a deal.
That could
And
be it because
he witnessed it because he has a hatred for the Marines working with pirates big time. And if he's from Wano and he's seeing this go down, he might like that might be because he did say like he saw something that he didn't want to,
yeah,
and he regrets not being able to see Luffy. So he might have seen something like whether devil fruits or something exchanging between the Marines and Kaido, and him saying, "Okay, this is why we can't be working with these pirates because how are we out here? How are we out here killing ourselves, and then y'all just doing some back end deals? Like what?"
yeah, like it doesn't make sense for Jitoro for that, and just like I'm just like have so many fucking thoughts going through my head right now, dude.
Yeah, One Piece is
Um,
amazing.
yo, and it honestly like when I first started watching One Piece, I thought it was just gonna be like some sort of like pirate adventure similar to Naruto, and throughout the whole series, it's just like a bunch of conspiracy theories just pointing like back and
Yeah.
forth, like got like the whole government trying to like commit genocide. There's the ancient weapons, the like the void century.
Hmm.
Now that also because they revealed King's race being part of like the Lunarians. Have you heard of the potential theory that God Valley that disappeared off the face of the world is potentially the Lunarians and the people that lived on top of the Red Line before the Celestial Dragons came to and established Marijois.
No, I didn't hear that, but I did hear a theory that Sanji might be from that lineage, or that his genes that were used by his dad included a piece uh of that race of people, and that's why he's able to do his spinning fire. Because when
Yeah,
he did that, and Queen asked him like, "Hey, are you from there too?" And then Sanji obviously was like, "Nah, this is a burning love or whatever." And even though it was a gag, kind of like a Oda, like, aha, but it was like, wait a minute, hold on
yeah,
now. It's like, and in the manga, it was bolded in black. And I'm just like, wait, so he could be from there. One, two, that place could be exactly where the Marijo is currently or was because it did relocate.
that's true.
And it could also be where Raftel is. It could be also where an additional or the red Rio poneglyph, that could be it. Like there's so many theories, and I love One Piece because you can't just watch it and read it and not start to like connect certain dots here and there. Like you automatically have to start making that connection. Like, what's the connection between Crocodile and Ivanka? Was Crocodile a
Yeah,
female before? Like, is that why in all the flashbacks or whatever, Crocodile's never shown his face because they don't want to show that his hair looks a certain way or his face is a certain way? Like, because when they talked in the Marine Forward and she was like, or he was like, "I haven't seen you in a while, Croco boy," or whatever. It's like, yo,
yeah.
Crocodile's like, "Hey, don't be spilling my beans. Like, hold on now, don't be telling everybody
Don't
I
be
did this
snitching
little."
now.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
Like this was you medical professional. You supposed to keep this between me and you. Ain't this the HIPAA law? Like what's going on?
yo, speaking of like medical professionals, do you think that Law, like Triforce Law, is actually one of my favorite characters in the entire series? Do you think Law will perform the was it the not immortal
Eternal.
life, the eternal life surgery on Luffy?
That's so hard to do, but when he was getting his butt handed to him by Doflamingo, and when he put his hand, like he only had one hand, when he put his one hand over his head, and he was like, like the D's will rule da. Like he was talking his crap, and like Luffy's gonna kick your butt or whatever. But the moment he put his hand over his face and he was just like crying or whatever, and Luffy just comes in with Conqueror's Hockey, I was like, okay, that right there, that just seals the deal. Like, of course, hell yeah. Like the moment I saw that, I was like, he put so much trust in Luffy. He was like, even if I die, I'm not dying. Like that was like for me when I saw that scene, that was his whole mindset was this guy right here is gonna be able to take down Doflamingo which for me personally translates to if at some moment in time Luffy goes crazy, just like how he did facing Rob Lucci and like using all his powers to try to get a disease or whatever, similar to the foreshadowing of Gold Roger, which might
Shit, yeah.
hint hint they might have the same fruit type of thing. Um, Even though we already got a glimpse of Roger's powers, I think it might be the sword and not him. But I think it'll mean that in the series, Luffy's gonna learn how to do a lot of very self-inflicting attacks that really drain him, and it'll have to be a decision about Law. I mean, like, you're an amazing guy, but like, this is the MC of One Piece.
True.
Like, he's the MC. Like, you
Yeah.
did your part. You gave us an amazing backstory. We cried with you with Corazon. We cried with when you getting your butt kicked or whatever. But now we gotta cry that you are taking one L for the team and giving Luffy what he needs. And at the end of the day, he might even give that up. Like, he might give his life up for Luffy to have eternity. But based off of Luffy's fruit, it might be an ironic gag that he can't live immortal because at some point he has to run out of the rubber band stretching and he
Yeah.
still got to die. But at least he pushes him on a couple more days. I just think he will definitely do it.
I can definitely see it happening during the like the very final fight with Blackbeard, which I for sure I want to see what exactly he meant by I think it was like one panel after the whole thing with Marijois that
Mhm.
the Marines were distracted with one thing and it gave Blackbeard the opportunity to go after something else. Do you think that that might be like going after either Luffy or going after Kaido himself, potentially because of Luffy defeating Kaido and he's Blackbeard's trying to get Kaido's fruit?
Hmm. No, I think what ended up happening was after the fight in Marineford that Teach got his Gura Gura no Mi. Once he got the Quake fruit and he started to recruit people. One, he started to expand his operations, and then he started to devil hunt or devil fruit hunt. He started to get the best devil fruits. And it's only because they have a certain way or they found a method to take people's devil fruits and use it for themselves. And with only, I believe, Teach, he's allowed to have two or three only because he's a special individual who might have like two or three bodies in him and whatnot. But what I think is going to end up happening with the story to lead up to the final fight is there's got to be some sort of a Teach versus Shanks. Like, I know that that has to happen. I don't think Oda's going to give us Luffy versus Shanks crew. I think he's going to give us more so a Blackbeard versus Shanks, and Shanks is going to go down because it's already going to be too late. Shanks has never done anything the whole series. For anybody saying
Yeah.
Shanks is OP as hell, think about the story. We haven't seen Shanks fight. We've seen Blackbeard fight a lot already. We haven't seen Shanks fight at all. I very, very doubt that Shanks is going to come in and just mop the floor with Blackbeard, especially after Blackbeard gave him his scars already. And that was before
True.
he had one
True.
devil fruit. Now he's going to have two devil fruits. And not only is he going to have two devil fruits, he's going to have like eight captains that all are going to have amazing hand selected devil fruits that they're already going to know everything because it's also rumored that Teach, I believe he's from the North Blue, or he has some preconceived knowledge of devil fruits, so he can already give everybody like Shiru of the Rain, the invisible fruit. Like, what? Like,
Yeah,
how OP can you get? Like, the most deadly stormman of all time is gonna be invisible.
bro.
Like,
I'm excited to
how?
actually see that fight, like Shiryu versus Zoro, because I know that
Yes.
shit's gonna be fucking epic.
Like, how, Sway? How is he gonna do
Yes.
it? How? Like, how? Like, he already has one eye. Like, what?
Yo, did you actually we're just getting like into a bunch of theories, but that's the beauty of One Piece, though.
Yeah.
The fact that his left eye being sealed or like closed is due to the fact that Mihawk did something to his eye, like sealed it or showed him a way to basically like store hockey in there to give him like almost
Mhm.
that Hawkeye style like eye as well. Um, there's that, and there's also a theory that because of the sword, the cursed sword that he holds in that hand, um, it a lot of people are speculating that something that sword is trying to possess Zoro. So Mihawk sealed that eye to prevent that sword from progressing. So
Hmm.
when Zoro actually opens that eye, it's because of that cursed sword that he has, and it's gonna unleash like some like ultimate devil Ashura type thing.
Man, I, that's tough because the way I would depict it is at first when I first saw it, I was thinking if Zoro didn't have a patch, it would guarantee there's a hidden power up underneath there. But the more that I'm looking at the story and the more that I'm seeing him fight Kaido going at 120% and he didn't reveal it, and he almost died, I'm almost like 99.9% sure that's more so of like a final fight with Mihawk, that Mihawk like cut him up right there. And that's when they were like, okay, training is over because the only way we're going to finish this fight is if we go all out because I already messed up your eye.
True.
Like I'm looking at it from
Yeah.
that perspective. Like also knowing Oda, he probably was trying to tease everybody after because I don't know about you, but when I was reading One Piece, I was reading up until the part the 2 year skip too. Like I was reading all that and I was so highly anticipated. There was the 2 year skip that was gonna get a brand new opening. Everybody was excited. And Oda was saying that everybody's gonna get brand new appearances, and everybody's like, oh, what does this mean? Usopp looking manlier and all this stuff is like, oh snap. Zoro got that one eye. It's like, oh snap. Does that mean that he got a super power up? Sanji covered his other eye. It's like, oh snap. Does that mean Sanji also got a power up? And then, like, lo and behold, as the story keeps going, it's not showing that he's getting a power up. I think more so it's like that battle scar. Like, yo, just like Rayleigh, like I don't think Rayleigh, unless there is gonna be some point where Rayleigh is like gonna do the same thing. I
Hmm.
think it's almost like the same parallel. Like Luffy is exactly like Roger. He even has a first mate that has a cut eye. Why? Because they
True.
fight so hard that there's no way that they're not gonna have some sort of injury. And what more than right on your eye? Like Zoro already promised Luffy he's never gonna lose. The only way he can get that kind of an injury isn't in a real fight, but it's fighting to practice, and he can say, hey, I was practicing. This wasn't an actual real battle scar. This was just something that I earned, practicing to defeat the top tier individual of all time called Mihawk.
Yeah.
But if Oda pulls a 180 and then just like all of a sudden throws out an Ashura from like Naruto, like I wouldn't be like, hey, hold on, wait a minute, you can't be mixing. I'd be like, damn, how many times can he do that? Like, why didn't he do that against Kaido? Like, hold on now.
No, I agree with you 100% there. And it does make a lot more sense that Zoro would just, get scarred from fighting Mihawk. Because Mihawk will show Zoro everything that Zoro knows, but not everything that Mihawk knows,
Mm-hmm.
just because he's gonna save that for the final fight. And that final fight is probably gonna be very emotional and super fucking like hardcore. I'm all about it.
I mean, you also got to think too, like Zoro's backstory's been pretty much flirting with the fact that he resembles all his predecessors. He resembles his dad or great grandfather, whatever, because they said he was a one-eyed swordsman who also
True.
fought in a similar way. He's holding the sword in a similar way. He's slicing it in a similar way. And when you got 2 to 3 samurai who all they know is the sword, like all they do is kendo, and they're literally looking at this guy like, hey, this guy looks like one of our amazing samurai. Not only that, he actually swings the sword like them. Like, wow, you got 2 of them saying that. And then I believe there was another person that also said the same thing, like, hey, you look like or you fight like Ryuma. Like, do you know who that is? And it's like, oh yeah, I did. I took his sword or whatever in a duel. And it's like, wait, hold on, how'd you duel with the dead guy? It's like, that's a
Yeah.
long story. It's like, oh my goodness, there's so many people already saying, hey, you're one-eyed swordsman. You fight like your great grandfather or whatever. The king's right hand had one-eyed as well, and he was also a very powerful swordsman. And then
True.
there's another theory that supposedly Shanks and Mihawks are actually first mate type of thing. That Shanks actually has Mihawk under, just like with Akainu having some sort of a ties with the not Akainu, excuse me, Kuzan having ties with the Blackbeard pirates, but we all
Yeah.
know he's still one of the good guys. I
Oh
think it's
yeah.
gonna be the same thing with Mihawk, because with Mihawk, he doesn't have a crew, but he's a pirate. And everybody else had some sort of a crew, even Jinbei, which for the longest they never told us where Jinbei, what kind of pirate did crew did he have until it was like, the new Fishman pirates. And it's like, okay, that's his crew. But we still don't know anything about Mihawk and what pirate crew he is, unless he's just a one person pirate.
I mean, Mihawk is definitely strong enough to become like just a one man like pirate crew. But at the same time, like there's like some inconsistencies with like Mihawk just being solo,
Yeah.
because during the Battle of Marineford, Shanks showed up and Mihawk just completely said, "No, I'm not fighting anymore," because like he's not gonna fight his own captain. But
And
that
that's what everyone thinking. Like, he
yeah,
ain't gonna fight his captain,
and
or he's not gonna fight, like, if they had a falling out too.
yeah, and on top of that, like nobody in the world was able to find Shanks, but Mihawk was able just to go like sail on
Yes,
to the same
yes,
island where he was
yes.
at.
He
Like
just
nothing
walked
ever
in there.
happened. Yeah, and
And I was
everybody was
like,
just
oh
all
my goodness,
excited.
what if he has a Beaver card? And
That
like
is
they're
highly
buddy
possible.
buddy. Like he has, just like with Jack, he only kept going to Zoe because he had Kankuro's Beaver card. And
Yeah,
Kankuro gave like, this is where Zoe is at all times. It's like, oh my goodness, Mihawk and Shanks, same thing. But unless you're paying super intricate attention, it's like stuff like that just flies over your head. Like, yeah,
yup,
he just randomly met Mihawk, and I mean Mihawk randomly met Shanks, even though they're like enemies or whatever. Because when Whitebeard was fighting Shanks, he said, hey, you fought who did you fought to lose this arm? Like, don't you normally fight Mihawk or whatever? And it says like,
yup.
nah, I didn't fight that bum or whatever. I lost this betting on the new age. And it's like, wow, everybody just like flies over that and just like, I bet this on the new age. But just look, hold on, right before he said that amazing part, just he just said, yeah, I always fight with Mihawk or whatever, but not this time. This time I gave it up to the new age. It's like, if they had constant fights, it could have been a falling out. It could have
Yeah.
been like, hey, we're gonna just tell people we're fighting for real, but we're not really fighting.
Now that you mentioned that, it could also explain, like, because of Shanks being able just to walk up to the Gorosei like nothing. It could be that they worked out a deal for Shanks to leave one of his crew to become one of the warlords, and Mihawk completely was against the idea and like hated Shanks because of that. And that's why they constantly fought, but Shanks needed somebody on the inside to know what the hell was going on.
Yo, I like that theory.
It makes
Whoa.
so much sense though.
Yes, yes, it does. That connects a lot of pieces. Because that could even connect the piece that Shanks is part of the Tenryubito. And the only reason that they would even honor that request is because he is one of them. And he needs to know constantly, I need to have an inside guy at all times. Yo, that's
Yo,
crazy. That's a dope theory.
it is. I dig it. Um, like it is. There's just so many different ways like One Piece can go, and it's like beautiful. It's like the most amazing storytelling that I've seen so far.
Big
And
facts.
like not only that, just the whole thing that they haven't, well, Oda hasn't like even touched upon is why is Luffy's devil fruit so important to the world government, and why was there like a giant straw hat underneath Mary Joie, and like what what do they plan to do with that
Yeah,
devil fruit?
yeah, you ever thought like after reading or watching One Piece, it's like, damn, how much of this is based on real life, bruh?
Oh, there's so much like similarities to real
Yeah.
life too.
Like for me, it's always like the Void Century. Like, hold on. And in real life, there's actually like a lot of void centuries where you have like literally centuries worth of information, like whether it's the Library of Alexandria or different places where like technology or whatever information at that point in time was completely eradicated. Like I've heard that some missionaries, when they came to the Americas or whatever, that they burned a lot of writings from like the natives and stuff like that, and that only now, ages later, that they're discovering like, oh, Native Americans used to write. And it's like, yeah, we would have found that out if you didn't burn it all, like, like. And it's just
Yeah,
like, damn, One Piece, what are you trying to tell us, Oda?
I heard that, and I heard something similar in regards to the pyramids of Giza in Egypt, where the pyramids were actually lined at the very top with this like
Mhm.
gold plating, because gold channeled electricity like way
Yes, it's a
better than,
very good conductor.
yeah. And so if the three pyramids had gold plating on top, that basically made the pyramids like this giant like
Battery.
battery. And for
Yeah.
ancient times, like that is so huge. So like over time, there's been, of course, it's I don't want to say like conspiracy theory, but there has been people that have come like I guess taken down like the gold and everything. And nowadays it just begs the question like why did they take the gold away from like these pyramids? Like why not just
And
keep
then
it?
and then you watch One Piece and you see a Jaya Island. They take the gold
Yes.
because they're greedy. People greedy. They're like, hey, this could power the whole world, or it could make me rich.
Yeah, and on top of that, like even going to like Sky Island and like the whole city of gold and Eneru taking this massive aircraft to the moon and just find like a bunch of like automatons like up there in the moon and
Yeah.
dude, it's
Like even
insane.
that is still is crazy. It's like, man, is that what's up there on the moon?
Just a bunch of like tiny little robots just walking around.
It's like, hey, how'd y'all like Earth? It's like, that's actually pretty good. If y'all would have just increased the oxygen intake, let us live like 200, 300 years. So that way we can enjoy Oda creating One Piece chapter 3532 or something like that.
Dude, do you think Eneru might make a comeback down to Earth with like all the automatons and try to take over again?
I think Oda actually confirmed that he's gonna do that.
Oh
I think he
shit.
confirmed that he's gonna reappear in the story. But I don't believe he confirmed whether it's gonna be as a good guy or a bad guy. Because I think the SBS question was something like, are all the ex villains gonna come back as good guys or something like that? Or now that NL found the Ottomans or whatever, and that they run off electricity, is he gonna come back? And Oda was like, you're just gonna have to wait and see for the moon arc or something, or like the space arc. And I was like, what? And now that One Piece is like 70% done, it's like, are we even gonna get that still? Because like now he's rushing the story, and you can see that everything is like, oh my god, this is amazing, but it's like taking so much pacing to like, in one chapter, you got like seven different stories that all are
Yeah.
crammed in within
Yeah.
like a 10-page, deadline. It's like, man, are we gonna get like just like a 1 or 2 pages of them going to the moon and coming back down? Or like what's going on? Like, if the greatest fight of all time is gonna be making Marineford look like a child, Marineford was like almost a year and a half.
Yo, that's true. I keep forgetting
That's
like
gonna be a while.
how long the whole Marineford arc took.
Like Dressrosa was a couple of years. Like every big arc was like a couple of years of your. Like One Piece been going for 20 freaking years.
Yeah.
It's so the good arcs took 3 to 4 years. The trashier ones took less than a couple of months.
Yeah, and I think even like going with Dressrosa, like that came out. I think it was like what, like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, that took like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
Same with Whole Cake.
and the whole thing like with Marriage Raw, even though it feels like it was pretty recent, that was like I think last year or 2 years ago.
Hmm.
It's the way that it like the story is going like super fast. I feel like it's ridiculous. And on top of that, like the whole fight with Who's Who and Jinbei, like how he just casually just dropped like, what do you think about the sun god Nika? And then Marco Phoenix remembering Whitebeard talking about like, do you believe in gods? Like that in itself is just mind blowing, and that could actually lead up into like the whole moon arc or so.
Hmm. All this
To
amazing foreshadowing from sun worship to moon worship to then adding slavery and discrimination right in the mix, and then tossing freaking Shanks into the conversation, making everybody like Shanks, Shanks, ooh, Shanks.
oh, dude. All right, so if you had the choice to pick one devil fruit like as a real life power, which one would you choose?
Man, that's so hard. It would just depend off on like certain circumstances, like the invisible fruit. That's top five right there. Like Sanji's dead on. Like what type of things that you'd be able to accomplish? Like you wouldn't even need to mind read people as long as you're able to be in the vicinity and they don't even know type of thing. Um, you got that one. Then you got the room shambles. Like there's so many things. Like not having the eternal life opportunity, but just being able to like transfigure or like transport things instantly. Then you got a Nell, boom, lightning fruit. Then
Yeah.
the Yami no Me, and my ultimate. Like if I had the, if I could, Magma, the magma know me. Like what,
Really?
dude?
Okay.
Yo, this dude can create worlds. Like, I think there was an SBS that Oda confirmed that if Akainu just started like, going on a rampage, he could create islands on a tamper tantrum. Like just the fact that think about it, if you're molten lava, you could literally create an island. You could create literally worlds. And when I read that, I was like, man, if I had that fruit, man, I'd be on Craigslist every day, like brand new island up for sale, $1 million.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, that's just prime real estate.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I got 15 acres just freshly made, straight up. It's the strongest, most foundational kind of magma core or whatever. In like a couple of months, I'm gonna have people fly out and drop a lot of soil on there so that way y'all can come in and get your stuff together. And make sure you bring the money because you don't want to make me mad.
Yo, I respect that. I respect that. I didn't even think about like the certain fruits in that perspective. Like I was just thinking more of like destructive ability or just like world domination wise.
Oh, it's
Because
easy. We could dominate. You can dominate with your fists or with the money.
damn that, I hit so so hard in today's standards, dude.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, I dig it. I dig it. So what other animes do you like? Because I know you mentioned Eye Shield 21. I personally haven't seen Eye Shield. Um, there's like some sports animes that haven't really like fully caught my attention. I did watch Diamond No Ace.
Oh yeah, that one's good
That
too.
one's good too, and ironically, a lot of people aren't a fan of it, but this this anime actually got me into like bicycle racing because it made it seem so epic. It's Yawamushi Pedal.
I think I've heard of it.
It's literally just like bicycle racings and different styles of it, like sprints, mountain like racing and everything.
Yeah, I
It was
remember.
really interesting.
Yeah, I saw like I remember seeing that one because I used to always watch like highlights of like sports anime, and I remember there was like an epic comeback that him or one of his squad mates did, and I was just like rooting for him. I was like, yeah, keep pedaling, keep going.
Yeah,
I mean, so many animes like Prince of Tennis was one of my favorite, got me into
yeah,
liking tennis. Baby Steps, again, another tennis one that also like broke down like the higher tier stuff. Like Baby Steps, honestly, Baby Steps helped me understand like how to break down something really complicated into like something bite-sized, to the point where it almost feels like I'm not even reading something tennis related because I can break down everything as long as you give me some sort of a blueprint. And then other animes, Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan, those were amazing. I've read the ending of Attack on Titan. I absolutely loved it. I loved the manga, loved the anime. Everybody that didn't like it, I'm sorry you did if you didn't. Only because the story kept going in a way that there was only two options to take. So
yeah,
just like Death Note, same with Death Note. At the end, everybody hated the ending. I think it was appropriate. It's the same thing. You only have two options in Death Note 2. Either he gets caught or he doesn't get caught. It's not ambiguous. It's either he's going to get caught or he's gonna just become ruler of the world.
yeah. I personally love Death Note. Death Note is like one of my favorites. I have the Black Edition books,
Mhm.
and I, during like the second season with Light going against I'm already drawing a blank on this guy's name. Uh,
Light.
Light going against L's I was gonna say descendants, but proteges that he
Yeah, I
picked
don't know.
out.
I don't know their name. I just remember Light and
Yeah, but
blonde hair dude, and that's all I remember. The blonde hair protege.
yeah, the blonde hair protege that was more like L. During that whole season and like, arc, Light did a lot of mistakes. Like he started getting a little bit too cocky and ahead of himself. I feel like, and just started slipping because he didn't have that competition until these guys showed up. And I feel he started to just get rusty.
Yeah, I think it's the same mindset of when you're like up 3-1 in a basketball game or whatever, and you're just like, hey, we only got one left to win. Why are we even trying?
Yeah,
Like, hey, I already took out L. Why am I even gonna try with these has-beens? Like, psh, 15-year-old. I've been doing this for 3 years. I've been murdering people. I made myself forget these memories, and then I touched the
Bro.
book and I got him right back, and I was like, now I got you. Checkmate, bro. I got your name by faking my identity. I even got my girlfriend, who I don't even care, to shave off like 75% of her life, just for me. Like, dude, like the story was great.
Yo,
That's why I was like, I wasn't too mad at the ending, because it's like he overplayed his hand. He became very,
yes.
very conceited. He was like, I'm the smartest one in the world. It's like, no, you're not. Like, these kids were raised to literally defeat guys like you. You didn't even know you was gonna be a guy like you. That's
Mm-hmm.
why you messed up, because
Yep.
you literally thought, ain't nobody catching me because I've been doing this so long. It's like,
And on top of that, like he just started the whole thing just because he was bored, and like the ending was so perfect too because of how it started. Where when he first met Ryuk, Ryuk warned him, or basically told him, it wasn't even a warning, it was a promise that by the end of everything, he's going to be writing Light's name in his death note, and he was just waiting for it to happen. And that scene where he like Light is just crawling on top of the stairs, and he sees Ryuk just writing his name down. It was just perfect. It was poetic.
yeah, that's what I was like. I wasn't too mad with the ending. For the people that wanted something completely else, it's like it's a 50-50 shot. Like, it's
Yeah.
not like One Piece. It ain't no 50-50. Like, with One Piece, bruh, the treasure might be friends, even though Oda guaranteed it's not going to.
Hmm.
But it's Oda. Like,
Yeah.
it might be a power that is only done through friendship type of thing. Like, everybody put like a blood or whatever, and then like it creates, boom, an amazing gift, and that's like the key to Raftel. And it's like, so it was still friendship all along, because if anybody was missing, you wouldn't have gotten here. Like, I don't know. Like, I find the journey of One Piece more entertaining than the actual One Piece, which is why I was really hyped when Luffy told Usopp, like, if Rayleigh tells me that One Piece is real, I quit as a pirate. I was like, you damn right. I don't want to know if it's real. It's too fun right now. Hold on, let us go to chapter 2,500 for a minute. Like, come on, y'all want this to
Facts.
end? Like, hold
Facts.
on. Oda, can Law give you the eternal turn on no me, like, so that way you can finish the entire? Because he must have thousands upon thousands of different branches of reality, of ideas, like even just the Toki with the time and stuff like that.
Oh, I
Oh,
completely forgot about that. And that Toki fruit, I feel like it threw everything that we knew about like One Piece like into a loop because every, we I feel like people knew that you can do elemental like devil fruits and even weird ones like the laundry fruit that the one vice admiral had. But just the fact that like okay, now we're introducing time. And oh, that actually reminded me because I was watching a video. There was one of Charlotte Linden's kids has a devil fruit that allows him to fuse like two devil fruits together.
hmm.
That in itself, like it can open up so much like more possibilities if fallen into the wrong hands. Like if Blackbeard were to go after that fruit, just the sheer like destruction that he can cause by fusing two devil fruits,
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
dude. Um, I just had something in the forefront of my brain and I just lost it. Fuck. Give me a minute. It
Make it the last one, times limited.
oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Because you gotta get out of here around like ten thirty
It's
five, right?
mm-hmm.
Okay. It's fine. It's but anyways, dude, it was so much fun like talking to you. Like we definitely gotta get you back on the podcast because
Oh, for
there's
sure.
so much more we can go off on random tangents and One Piece.
Oh yeah, for sure. Next time I'll have to open it up for the whole night, because this might take hours.
100%, 100%, man. But thank you again for coming on the podcast. Like I said, I'm gonna shoot you a message. We can schedule another time,
Mhm.
and I hope you enjoyed this too, man.
Yeah, this was fun. I love talking about One Piece and getting, you gave me more clarity on what inspired the story that I have. I also have the upcoming book for the Bate series coming out September 30th. So in 10 days, whether this drops before or after, It's gonna come. Bate Descending, inspired by Taino Indians of the Dominican Republic. I'm gonna have it available everywhere, but mainly just on Amazon. You can just look it up, Nico Pengin. I misspelled penguin, so it's Pengin. You can also check my website at nicopengin.com. Thank you once again. I am Crimson for this opportunity.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to that book, man. Because me being Dominican and Puerto Rican too, I love it. I love it.
Hey, that's what's up.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
Yes, sir.